everyone, thanks so much for stopping by and welcome to another knife review here on the Mr. Jimbo Fox channel. A few months back I did an unboxing of this little beauty right here as sent to me by the Kershaw Knife Company. Very special thanks to Miss Sarah Pratt from Kershaw Customer Service for making this happen. I really appreciate that, Sarah. Thank you so much, and to the rest of the customer service team at Kershaw. You guys have been nothing short of consummate professionals and awesome knife enthusiasts. So big ups to Kershaw. Love you guys, love the company, love the products. Okay, so now that I've got that out of the way, let's talk about the knife in question. Today's knife is going to be the Kershaw Knockout. This is one that is actually relatively new in the Kershaw catalog. Hasn't been out all that long. It's kind of what I would like to call in the series of new wave of Kershaw knives, meaning their new approaches and their new series of knives that are very, very different from a lot of their previous entries that you may have seen. But before we get into that, as always, let's go ahead and jump right into the specifications. Close length, 4 5/8 inches. Blade length, 3 1/4 inches, giving it an overall length of 7 7/8 inches. Weight, 3.4 ounces. Blade steel, 14C 28-inch Sandvik. Handle material, machined aluminum. This sweet baby is made in the USA as stamped there on the blade. Kershaw headquarters in Tualatin, Oregon. This knife features what Kershaw calls the quad carry pocket clip. They had gotten some heat in the past years regarding some of their pocket clip designs, and it seems that they have definitely listened to the folks giving them criticism for that and made some adjustments at the factory level. So you can go tip up, tip down, left or right on this. It also does feature a very awesome ultra low profile pocket clip, much like the previously reviewed Kershaw Cryo. I was a big fan of that one and the pocket clip, and I'm glad that that approach and that philosophy to pocket clips has carried over into some of their other knives. This is a very, very cool pocket clip. This knife features what Kershaw calls the sub-frame lock, and basically I think that's pretty much the best way that you can describe exactly what this is. But to give you some specifics, it's kind of like a hybrid between a liner lock and a frame lock. And what I mean by that is, in a frame lock, basically you've just got one solid piece of handle. There's no breaks, there's no separation or anything like that. It's all one piece, and the lock basically is just a machined piece that's made to bend a little bit inward. A liner lock, you've got a completely separate piece of material that goes inside the frame that acts as the lock stopper. Well, this one, technically, you know, like I said, sub-frame lock, that's really hitting the nail on the head here. This piece, which is the locking bar, is actually part of the frame. As you can see, it is not a liner. It is not a separate piece of metal that sits inside of the frame. It sits on the frame, but it has been machined and cut out and separated, I think at least, to make the opening and closing of the knife a little bit more fluid and a little bit smoother. And in that capacity, folks, it absolutely excels. You know, I've handled Chris Reeve Sebenza's, you know, other knives with the integral lock and stuff like that. And while it is a fine locking system, you know, there's definitely no criticizing it. I've never seen a frame lock that disengages this quickly. I mean, it is literally just effortless, you know, to get it to deploy and to get it to disengage. It's as smooth as butter every single time. Required absolutely zero break-in. It was ready to rock and roll right out of the box, and that's absolutely what I love to see from knife companies. Deployment on this guy, well, you've got the flipper with Kershaw's patented speed-safe technology. Definitely one of my absolute favorite deployment methods. I absolutely love a flipper, and adding it with speed-safe, man, that's like gas on a fire. I mean, it's just bigger, better, more awesome. It does feature thumb studs that do not act as blade stops, as you can see there. It's nowhere near the frame, but I'll be honest with you guys, getting this thing to deploy with the thumb studs is an exercise in probably getting ready to slice off your thumb. I mean, you really got to put a lot of effort into it, and in my opinion, it's just, I've had two close calls where I've just about taken the meat off of my thumb. It may work for some folks, you know, with bigger hands. I wear a large in gloves just as a reference point, but in my opinion, guys, if you've got the flipper and you've got speed safe, why even bother with the thumb stud? This is faster. It's just that simple. It's simple physics working in your favor. It takes more effort to do this than it does to simply do that. So I'm a big fan of flippers. You know, I own a lot of flipper knives, love the Kershaw Leak, and again, when you pair that up with speed safe, I really haven't seen too many instances where they've gotten it wrong, and in this one, they definitely got it right. Alright, so let's talk about the blade a little bit. Okay, first of all, this is a very wide blade, and in the sexiest way possible. I mean, it's wide without being fat, I guess is the way I could describe it. It's just just sturdy. You know, it's just got this really robust and muscular appearance to it. You got a high hollow grind on this one, very attractive swedge right there, and you got all this belly to play with as far as slicing is concerned. Nice acute tip on the front there. Really, really awesome. I like the way the relief. You know, you get a little bit of shimmer there here. Nice backed up relief on that thing. Just really, really fantastic at slicing, simply because you've got so much real estate to work with here. They've really done a great job on that. So let's talk about the handle material. You've got a backspacer that's about 50% there, which in my opinion is actually a really good thing, because you've got a significant amount of blade, 3 1/4, that's bordering on big. You need a little bit of something in the back to balance it out. This thing would just be front heavy. It'd be like a muscle car. So as far as the handle scale itself is concerned, I'll be honest with you guys, this handle scale is by far the lightest machined aluminum handle scale I've ever held, especially for such a big knife. Look at the balance point, guys. It's right in the middle, so the backspacer is doing its job. And it's just so, it feels so paltry in your hands, especially, for a bigger 3.4 ounce knife. It doesn't feel like 3.4 ounces. It feels like a much lighter knife. It's almost like a sports car where, you may have, a car with, a big engine and stuff like that, but, everything's been lightened up, high speed, low drag kind of stuff. So they've really done a fantastic job with this. It's nice, smooth but textured handle scale. Feels very comfortable in your hand. The blade shape, you got a little nice finger choil up here so you can get nice and up choked. It's just really, really comfortable, really, really great, really, really user friendly. Let's do a couple quick size comparisons here. We're just going to bring in a couple of the competitors, as far as dimensions are concerned. Got the Spyderco Paramilitary 2. Very comparable in handle size, and this is definitely a larger handle. If I remember right, I actually think I mentioned that. This is one of the biggest handles on a similar size knife I'd ever seen. And there it is, lining up with the Knockout. Then we got the Benchmade 940, Green Goblin. Check out the carry view here. As I mentioned earlier, this does feature Kershaw's quad carry ultra low rider pocket clip. And the first thing you notice when it slides in your pocket is that it slides in and out really, really simple. It's very, very comfortable, very, very concealed ride, as you can see. Look at that. I mean, you can barely even see that the knife is there. It sits so low in your pocket. And what I love about this is that it's so comfortable, because the knife is so thin for its size and the weight is managed so well. You honestly forget that it's in your pocket if you stop thinking about it for a couple of minutes. And in my opinion, guys, that's one of the hallmarks of a good EDC knife, is that it's not cumbersome, it's not a chore to carry it. It just simply sits in your pockets and it fades away. So great job on that, Kershaw. Going to do a quick cutting demonstration here. As a point of reference, I have not touched this blade up since I got it. I've been carrying this basically non-stop for the past 2 or 3 months. It actually helped me move. It was in my pocket during the move, breaking down boxes, doing all kinds of stuff. I definitely think I've gone above and beyond putting this thing through some decent use, given the length of time. So we'll see how the Kershaw Sandvik steel holds up. Look at that. Still cutting paper. Needs a little bit of touch up. I feel just a little bit of resistance there. But that's to be expected, given how much I've used it. Absolutely outstanding job. Bottom line on the Kershaw Knockout, Kershaw has done exactly that. Knockout punch. This is just such an awesome knife, man. I can't stop smiling when it comes to talking about it. It's just so well executed. It's so obvious to me as a knife collector and knife enthusiast when I look at this and when I handle it and when I use it. that this is designed by people who actually carry and use knives. This isn't designed by a bunch of guys sitting in a room who don't know shit about knives. This is designed, obviously, by people that use knives and love knives the way people like me and the people like you do. I mean, you get so much for the $60 price point that this thing goes for. It just feels like they've crammed everything into this that you could possibly do, in such a price package. I mean, you've got Sandvik blade steel. I've always been a fan of it. Kershaw has absolutely championed Sandvik blade steel. It's made in the United States, so you're supporting the economy. It's made in Tualatin, Oregon, at Kershaw headquarters. You've got a nice, comfortable machined aluminum handle. It's big enough so that even the guys with larger hands could hold this thing and be perfectly comfortable with it. You've got a flipper. I've always been a fan of flippers. You've got speed safe technology, and you've got the subframe lock. Guys, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that this is definitely one of the greatest ideas when it comes to EDC folding knives that I've ever seen. To me, this idea should be in the Knife Hall of Fame. It really takes the best of both worlds in a very scientific manner. You've got basically the physics strength of a frame lock, but you've got the ease of use of a liner lock. So you really got this best of both worlds, awesome hybrid that combines the two things in a perfectly executed package. So Kershaw, as far as I'm concerned, gold star, man. You guys absolutely killed it with this one, and I can absolutely recommend this one. As I had mentioned before, guys, when I did the unboxing, Kershaw did send me another one of these. It's actually something that I ask of every single company who requests me to review a product, no matter what it is. I always say that one of the deal breakers for me is you've got to send me two of them because I want to give one away to a lucky viewer out there. So this one is going to be going into a giveaway very soon. Stay tuned for details on that. I want to go ahead and thank everyone so much for taking the time to watch this review. I hope you have found it informative and entertaining. For all the best gear, knives, flashlights, you name it, go ahead and check out www.whitemountainknives.com and be sure to enter discount code MJF to get 10% off your order. Thanks again so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.